I, Yusuf Rahim, formerly Levi Bellfield, a lonely serial stranger, child and adult rapist who is a proven liar and a manipulator. This is fact.
Episode 5, Levi Bellfield. Already? You're already showing the disdain for this guy.
Yeah, he's such a knob.
Well, let's get on with this. Born Levi Rabbits. He's a rabbit. Is of English Romani? I've fucked this up already, but I'm going to continue this.
Romani.
An English Romani serial killer. I don't know why that's important, but still, who was finally jailed in November 2004. He was responsible for the murders and in some cases rape and torture of Millie Dowler, 13, Marsha McDonald, 19, and Amélie Delagrange, 22. His dubbed nicknames are the Bus Stop Killer and the Hammer Man.
Hammer time.
Exactly. These came from him predominantly finding his victims at bus stops and, of course, attacking them with MC Hammer. Since being incarcerated to 3 life sentences, more evidence has emerged suggesting he was responsible for more murders, rapes and attacks, as well as being suspected of having been part of a child grooming gang. Some additional facts about this piece of shit. His friends called him Mr. Truthful. Do you know why?
Why?
Because he was a compulsive liar. I know.
Wow.
He is 6'1" tall and has previously taken steroids for muscle building.
Little dick.
Yeah. He's been noted by many people, and I love this, that he has a rather high-pitched, effeminate voice.
Hi, I'm Levi Bellfield.
I'll kill people.
Oh, no.
Okay,
sorry.
That's bad. That's bad. No, he
That's
raped,
bad.
He had sex with children, like Levi Bellfield.
That's bad, dangerous, and off the wall.
This introduction's going everywhere, which I like. I like it. And also, the last note is he suffered wild mood swings and took antidepressants. Obviously, don't fucking work.
Well, he took antidepressants, but he also drank strong lager and took heroin, I think, and lots of cocaine. Yeah.
But yeah, so as you can tell from this introduction, we have basically not given normally there's a lot of the introduction's a bit proper and straight laced. This one I can't be bothered. He's literally so awful.
Did we mention he's a piece of shit?
He's a piece of shit. But then again, Chikatilo was a piece of shit. Fred West was a piece of shit. Rose West was a piece of shit. We did their intros okay. This one, though, I can't be bothered. It's mainly because he's local. He's local to you.
He's very local to me. I keep constantly driving past the places where he attacked people with hammers. It's very bizarre. But, yeah, piece of shit.
So, yeah, we're talking about Levi Bellfield and cards on the table. All I knew about Bellfield was nothing. I knew the name and I knew the Millie Dowler case, but I didn't ever put the two together. And it was only, to be fair, it was after the Manhunt TV show I watched, went, oh wait, he did all that, Jesus. And so I read the book and oh my God, it was surprising.
Yeah.
That's one thing about this case is like, unlike things, the ones out there that everyone knows about, with Bellfield and all the other, I'd say lesser known ones, you always presume they're lesser known because they're not as vile. But that's not true.
Yeah, he's pretty vile.
He's just awful. But yeah, so what do you want to talk about, Chris?
Well, first of all,
yeah,
I'm Chris.
Oh shit! Yeah, I'm Christian. Hello.
And this is Echo On, a true crime podcast. This week, as Christian mentioned, we're talking about Levi Bellend.
Yeah,
Levi Bellfield. What a turd.
Oh, I hate him.
We have spent a lot of time, as usual, reading about him, watching things, and growing more and more disdain for this human sack of shit.
Well, it's like with a lot of the big hitters out there, you kind of don't see them as human. Like even let's say someone like ridiculous Albert Fish. Mm-hmm. Like
he's quite ridiculous.
Complete piece of shit. Complete ridiculous. Like more of a piece of shit than Bellfield. But he doesn't seem real.
It's so grotesque that it feels like a weird character.
And it's like Dahmer and even Ted Bundy. They seem so ridiculous that the whole story, all the stories are so ridiculous. This one, you sit there and go, oh no, he's real. And maybe it was because he's English. Like Fred and Rose West, it was so unbelievable because they were a couple.
Yeah.
But this is the first one we've done where it's literally a...
Also, this happened in the 90s and 2000s, so it's happened within our lifetime, and for me, it happened in the area that I grew up and still currently live in. So it's very bizarre to me because I was aware of lots of things, but revisiting and reading it again and then driving past the spots where he did these things on the daily basis, it's really strange. It adds the whole new level of
disgust
and reality to it. There isn't that distance and disconnect.
Yeah, and it's
So
let's start off. What part of Mr. Bellend's story would you like to have a chat about?
So first of all, I think we will talk about the bit that you particularly looked into, which is Colin Sutton, and stuff. But I think, shall we quickly mention a little bit about his youth a touch?
Yeah, go for it.
Just a little bit, because I think it's
Tell me a story, Chris.
All about how. So first of all, so he was born and brought up in the area that I grew up in,
Which is?
I'm not going to tell you where I live. That's
No
weird.
one's gonna listen to this podcast and go, "Oh, I'm gonna follow him."
They might.
Well, they might.
But yeah, like it's around Twickenham. He's famous for killing Millie Dowler or infamous in Twickenham. But he went to school and grew up around Heathrow Airport. Spent a lot of time around Feltham, Bedfont. Did stuff in like Staines, Walton, all this area that I've grown.
Which
and
for
spent most of
anyone
my life in.
not from England, these are areas of London. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Which is in England.
Which is in England.
In what was the EU.
Yeah, as we're recording this, we're still in the EU.
Yeah. It will be when it comes. It will be about another month to go. So it's still in the EU.
We're still in the EU at the moment. Who knows? There might be fire and pestilence and stuff when we leave.
And more
the
serial
EU
killers.
At the end of
They'll
March.
release Bellfield.
Yeah. It's like the Millennium Bug all over again. Planes will fall out the sky. Anyway, I've totally gone off. Anyway, so he was born and brought up in the area that I grew up in. So everything has that weird level of kind of familiarity. But yeah, so first of all, I think it's worth looking at the fact that when he was 12, there is a suspicion he might have killed his first girlfriend. Just going to go straight in with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was a little bit older than him. They went out together for a little while. And then she was murdered on Hounslow. They found her on Hounslow Heath. I don't think they ever found anyone guilty for that.
No, but she was a blunt force trauma.
She was blunt force trauma.
No, that wasn't her, but that's how she died.
That's how she died, yeah. That's not her name.
Which is, his MO.
Which is his MO. So I think that's interesting. There's not a great deal of discussion because it would be a lot of just supposition. But it places him with someone who was murdered, who they never found anyone guilty for.
Well, it's the same thing as like the Fred and Rose thing. Like, there's all these crimes that they think they did, but as they're arrested, they're in jail, there's no evidence. Why spend the money and the manpower trying to find it out when it just brings up bad memories for the families?
Yeah. So from a young age, he was completely mollycoddled by his mother.
And was short back then.
And yeah, so he was completely mollycoddled by his mother, could do no wrong in her eyes, was the fucking,
He did try.
blue-eyed boy. He certainly tried. He potentially murdered his 12-year-old girlfriend, and he was a short ass with a high-pitched voice. Little tubby kid. So I think that's just kind of an interesting and also kind of important background to the monster he kind of grew into.
Bellfield's always been, he hates blonde women. Primarily it's against blonde women. And we just realised, well, why? And so we just had a quick look and we looked up to see whether his first girlfriend was blonde, but we can't really find anything.
Yeah, I don't think she was, but it's a bit.
So no, he just hated blondes.
He just hates blondes. I mean, one theory is because his mum. I think he said wife. His mum. That's Freudian. His mum has jet black hair, really dark hair, and ruled with an iron fist. So maybe it's like the antithesis as well, like the blonde bimbo in his eyes, the slut as you call them, versus the matriarchal, respectable. And
also, I think that he saw the blonde girls as like the sluts and the ones he could have sex with. Yeah. And the ones he could go after. The ones that were, because maybe during his youth he tried it on, and blonde women were the ones that did it, but it just
suggested that there was he was knocked back by or turned down. If you turned down by knocked back, I don't know if everyone will know that colloquialism, but like turned down, knocked back by a blonde girl when he was a young man or like a teenager, which would also potentially explain why he was obsessed with women or girls of around that same age, because that was the point where that seed was sown in his brain.
Which is just odd.
Oh, fucking dickhead.
There was that website Friends Reunited that I don't think his profile's still on it. Who knows? But no, he even says on there, like himself, that I feel like I'm older, but I feel like I'm 18 still. And it's like, you feel like you're 14, mate, because you're going after the 14-year-old kids. You're stopping at bus stops for schoolgirls.
Friends Reunited, in case anyone doesn't know or doesn't remember, was a pre-Facebook social network, so you could get back together with your school friends. I don't have anything fucking worse.
No.
I never signed up for it.
I did not either.
I left those people at school.
One thing is, you didn't ever want to kill any of them, so you wouldn't have to hunt them down. Oh, okay.
Let's move on.
But yeah, so that sort of backstory, whether it's true or not with his ex-girlfriend, all we know for a fact is she was killed. If he didn't do it, I mean, he could be recreating that crime if he didn't do it.
That's true. Maybe he really loved her in his 12-year-old mind. Someone murdered her and beat her to death, and he took that on himself.
And he's basically it twisted him so much to the point where, I mean, he obviously was a psychopath anyway, but it turned into the fact that that's how you kill women for him, because he was such a young age. There's always a possibility.
Yeah.
Because something must have happened to him. No, what am I talking about? No, something must. I was actually starting to think, everyone's born like innocent, and things do corrupt them in like no, they don't. Some people are born wrong uns.
Yeah, and also, I think we've probably said before, and we'll say it again. Some people have a terrible upbringing and turn out fine. Some people are technically psychopaths and are just successful businessmen and don't murder people. Some people have both things and can't control either of those things and end up dickheads like Levi Bellfield.
It's like every time you read anything about Levi Bellfield in any article or anything like that, they always throw in sly, not necessarily insults a lot of the time. A lot of them are insults, but some aren't, like to try and just make him worse. And the one thing I'm thinking of is they like all the tabloid papers go on about they don't call him an English serial killer, it's an English Romani serial killer. So he's a gypsy. No, he isn't. His grandmother was.
Yeah, but they do bring that up all the time.
They bring this up as if to say like, they're all like that.
Traveller stock, traveller stock, gypsy family, blah blah blah.
Gypsy, in fact, very few gypsies are serial killers. In fact, hardly any.
Hardly anybody.
Yeah. Anywhere. But they pick on it and say, no, we've got to add that in.
Gypsies, tramps and thieves.
Hammer them down. But anyway. But yeah, so you've got that. You've got the people constantly going on about his size, saying, all the representations of like every picture of him, even that TV show Manhunt that had him, showed him as a small man. Like the guy in Manhunt was about like 5'6". He was tiny. Bellfield was 6'1". And that, like, he was a big, huge guy.
Yeah.
But then they go on about his effeminate voice. When, he had I've got a slight high-pitched voice at times. But
I've got a slightly high-pitched voice at times.
But he wasn't even that high. I was expecting that. I was expecting, hello, no, I'm Levi Bellfield. But it wasn't. It was just...
I think it's one, because he's a piece of shit, so you can just
say what you want.
Rip the piss out of him. But also because he was such a big dude that you would expect him to have like a deep voice. And I think anything less than booming voice is kind of unexpected and weird.
Yeah. I suppose
if you know what I mean. It's about
if it doesn't sound like a monster, it can't be a monster, so we have to make it a monster.
Yeah.
It's like, but then why? I get he was so disgusting, but it's the first case I've seen of reporting of a criminal where they literally try anything to be insulting.
Yeah, they do.
But it's like, he's not going to read it.
I don't think he could barely read, could he?
I have no fucking idea. He was 6'1" tall. He took steroids for bodybuilding. But in every picture he looks fat, but it isn't. It's just a solid mass of muscle. He didn't have a very, very high pitched voice. But you've got the whole thing of like he started off as short and fat when he was a kid, and then suddenly went to 6 foot. And even that was one thing that was noted in the Friends Reunited thing, saying,
yes,
I used to be short, now I'm over 6 foot. Ha ha. Because obviously his size played a big factor in his demeanor when he was a kid. Yeah,
and I think he was probably always angry that he didn't feel he was treated with the respect or whatever, maybe that he was due. In his head he was due because he was a little fat kid. So when he was a big, tall, muscly guy who was a bouncer and worked on the doors and did that, all of a sudden he had some power behind him. Yeah. He had some influence and power that he could exercise.
But then you got the power thing. If you look at the whole thing of like the way he treated wives and girlfriends as just being insanely domineering and power playing.
Yeah.
Like, you were telling me something about he made one of his exes do something. Or
goodness, yeah. Let me I have it highlighted in my book here.
So I'll just do you want some holding music? So you found it.
Yes, here we are. So basically, he would routinely humiliate his girlfriends. Every girlfriend he had, he humiliated them, controlled them in many ways. One of the things that Joanna Colin said, and I quote, "He even made me wipe his ass when he'd been to the toilet. I'd have to sit on the bath next to him while he was on the toilet. And if she went to the toilet, she wasn't allowed to lock the door." So she he, a fully grown man, a 6'1" man, fucking huge dude, she had to wipe his arse. She had to sit on the bath and wipe his arse.
So let's say you're in a relationship with this woman and she makes you do that. You stop seeing them.
Yeah.
You stop seeing them straight away. Why would she stay? Even if you've got kids, you go, oh, wait, no, this is fucked. Let's go.
But obviously that's one thing in a long line of things where he dominated. Because everyone said, people don't generally start a relationship with an abusive person. The same people don't, we said on the previous episode, people don't join a cult. People don't. So he's nice. He spends money on them. He does things. But
some of these women went back.
Well, yeah, because they were enthralled with him. He groomed them.
They went back after he had already been abusive to them.
Yeah, he groomed them.
But that's no excuse. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah, but it's not. It sounds like you're blaming them. You can't blame them.
I'm blaming them.
No, they were
better taste.
No, but no, yeah, he groomed the shit out of them, and he also scared them. Because he had kids with them all as well, he'd make them pregnant, and then he always had an excuse to go back. He always had an excuse, to be around them. Then he would draw them back in. Just when you think you're out.
It's like just when you're out, they drag you back in. But it's the whole thing. Also, there's a thing of he owned a white van. And there was the whole thing of when I was growing up, I don't know if you had this as well. But white van men, basically just people who drive white vans for a living, whether it's delivery drivers or anything. When I was at school, we always used to think that the white van men were serial killers and pedophiles.
Yeah, they're the ones they could chuck you in the back of it and drive away.
I don't know why.
Like
for any white van drivers out there, I'm not talking about you.
Fuck you. No.
No. Change the colour of your van is all I'm saying.
There's to mention a different podcast, but I listened to a podcast called True Crime Garage, American one, and they've got merchandise that says "Ban the Van." And they always talk about banning the van whenever they talk about a murderer who had a van.
Which they should do.
They always talk about when they're successful, there'll be no vans left on the road and everyone will be safe.
That's, to be fair, if you took off, or if vans didn't exist, there would be less killings.
There would be less
killings.
Well,
it's like if you take away particular jobs, there'll be less serial killers.
Yes. Or also in the 70s, if there was no Volkswagen Beetles, or Bugs as they call them in the States, that seemed to be the car of choice for 70 serial killers in America.
Oh yeah, Bundy loved his.
Yes. Anyway, so it's going off on a tangent, but yeah.
We're doing that. I mean, for those people who have listened to episode 0, 1 and 2, we did start off very, I'd say, rigid. For the first episode, and then eventually starting to loosen up. We're starting to loosen up now, and you're starting to get the real
loosey-goosey.
Exactly. I can't believe you said that. But yeah, we're starting to have the real what the podcast will be like. It will be us talking about this stuff and trying not to give a lecture, because I realised when listening back to the first half of the first episode, it does sound like we're trying to be faux intellectuals when we're not. Well, I am, but that's a lie. I'm not. I'm lying.
Well, you're a faux intellectual.
That's a good point. Oh, wow. See, that's how intelligent I am. But anyway, yes. So Bellfield, when he was young, fat little troglodyte, killed his girlfriend probably. And then when he got bigger, everything is a power play with him.
Yes.
So
he, he worked at the doors of local bars and clubs around the local area, Twickenham and places like that. And he would pick up girls on the door. He would sell drugs to them. He'd pick them up. He would then take them to his, what did he call it? Shagwagon?
Shagwagon.
I think he called it his shagwagon.
Not rape van.
Not rape van. It hasn't quite got the same ring, has it?
Hey, do you want to come to my rape van? Why? No. Sandwich?
It's just a name. And he had a mattress in the back of one of them.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So he'd pick up girls, take them to his...
I bet this might just be me, but I bet there wasn't even a mattress cover on it.
I know, I picture it, it's just a mattress.
It's just a mattress and it's quite stained.
Oh, I bet it is.
And it probably stinks in there. Because he doesn't look like a guy that doesn't stink.
No. Although his bum's clean.
His bum is clean. Well, not anymore, he's in jail.
No, I mean, it was
spoilers.
Clean. Spoiler alert. Shit, sorry, that's where I lay now. That's at the end.
Yeah, okay, we'll do that at the end.
But no, so he would pick girls up at the door. He would sell drugs at the door to girls and whatever, but he would take them back to his van to have sex with them, sometimes consensual, often not. They reckon he often would drug them. He'd offer them Alka-Pops.
Of course, Alka-Pops. I don't know. What do they call them? Do they call that in America, or just I
don't know.
It's kind of the equivalent of a hard cider, where they have the weird flavour.
You get hard lemonade, don't they?
Yeah, the hard lemonade. It's like
lemonade.
the childish drinks done with alcohol.
Yeah, booze that tastes like not booze. Booze that tastes like not booze.
That's the one.
That was good English.
That was good English.
But yeah, so he would give them that and slip them roofies and stuff. But he also, we will get to DCI Sutton and stuff, but I thought we'd talk about the murders first. He would also just to highlight piece of shit, he admitted to his girlfriend, I think it was Joanna Collins again, that he apparently got a girl who was in the queue to one of his clubs, I think. She was in a wheelchair, took her to his van, picked her up out of the wheelchair, put her on his bonnet and raped her.
Now,
just let that hang.
At first,
like
when
a
you
hot
started
fart in a
talking
lift.
about that, I wanted to do a joke about wheelchair accessibility and to leave a ramp and blah, blah, blah.
No,
but then
yeah.
you got to it and, oh, fucking hell,
Yeah.
really?
Ultimate power play. She can't do anything.
But you've got this thing like that. All right, that's the second time that he will have raped someone outside in public on his car bonnet.
Yeah, we'll mention the other one.
What's it called in America? Not a bonnet.
Hood.
Hood, yes. So raping people on the hood of a car in in public, not in public. I'm not saying it's in like Times Square or anything, but it outside.
No, but still, yeah, it's fucking disregard for anything. He had this feeling because he was a wheeler dealer. Thought himself as a bit of a. The dog just fell off the chair.
That isn't a euphemism. My dog just fell off the chair.
She fell into the box that has the cables in.
She's
And now she's just stood in the box.
And she's in. Oh, your brother's calling.
Oh, hang on. Sorry.
Well, let's do it on air.
Hello, Al.
Hello.
You're on the podcast, Al.
We're recording
How
now.
you
You're
doing?
on the mic.
Yeah, sorry, I thought that, and then I thought,
Fuck
it
it.
was already ringing, and I thought, I'm just gonna carry on.
That's okay.
Through, yeah. So I've just, we've left about 10 minutes ago. I reckon it's taken an hour 40 because it's taking me on 25.
Yep. Okay.
So I'll be there about 5ish.
Cool.
All right.
Yep. No problemo.
Bye, Alex.
Okay.
We're gonna keep this in.
This is staying in.
You got anything? You got a message for our fans, for both of our fans?
Hello, internet people.
Hello, myself.
Thanks,
Please
Rich.
don't internet virus my head.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
See you. Bye.
But yeah, so where the fuck were we? Oh yeah, we're raping on hood car bonnet things. But yeah, so there's that. So, but then we've got like the whole like Bellfield was only investigated for 2 murders initially,
Yes.
or 1 really. But then
Well, it was one initially. So there was
Amélie Delagrange.
Amélie Delagrange, who was found barely alive on Twickenham Green,
and very soon.
and then
died
died soon afterwards. Had been attacked by a hammer not
She
far
was
from our
22
home.
and blonde.
22 and blonde, absolutely. His
His oldest.
type, and his oldest, not his oldest one that we think he attacked, but the oldest murder victim.
You got Marsha McDonald.
So Marsha McDonald, I think, who had already been killed and they were looking for,
Yeah.
but they didn't link them initially. She was 19 in 2003. And I can remember that because I was 19 in 2003. So she was the
Nice.
exact same age as me.
And I've never seen you and her in the same. Oh, I can't do that. She's a fucking murder victim. I was about
Don't
to.
do
Yeah, I can't do that.
I did have long hair then, but it wasn't blonde.
And then the Millie Dowler, who was 13, case came after he was.
So that was an earlier case, but he wasn't linked to that till much, much later. Well, formally linked to that till much later. So the timeline for the cases being brought against him was Amélie Delagrange, and then during the going through that, then linked it to Marsha McDonald, who was killed in Hampton, I believe. She just got the bus back from Twickenham. From Kingston. She's been out in Kingston, place I know very well. Have very I'll say memorable nights that I don't remember from Kingston.
Yeah.
Got the bus back to Hampton, was yards from our house. She was literally yards from our house, and was bludgeoned to death with a hammer, left for dead. So there was they're the 2 murders that initially he got tried
but
for.
it was during the trial or just before the trial where they brought in the charges of false imprisonment, attempted murder of that girl around Heathrow Airport.
Yeah.
Her name was Irma Dragoshi.
Yeah, so Irma, she worked in Slough, I think, in a hairdresser's. And I think she lived in Hounslow. She lived that way definitely because I checked the bus route because it's near me. It's near my
the bus route.
It's near my house, so I went to see where the bus route went because I wanted to know because it said West London and the bus goes to Hounslow. So her boss dropped her to the bus stop in Longford Village, which I drive through every day on the way to work, and I didn't realise it was there until when I was researching this, and it made me feel weird. So almost every day I drive past the bus stop I drive on the road that he was on. I drive past the bus stop that she was waiting for the bus on, where he snuck up behind her and smashed her in the head with a hammer. And it makes me feel a bit queer. Honestly, it makes me feel a little bit weird, a little bit ill, because it's so fucking so strange. But yeah, so she was waiting for the bus stop. She was not his type at all. She was older, but she had a hood up, so he couldn't tell. He just saw a woman at the bus stop.
Basically saw someone wanted.
Yeah, they reckon his friend was driving. He made him stop the car.
Yeah,
or did he stop? I think yes, he made a stop.
Well, it's like with the trial itself, you've got he was found guilty for Emily and Marsha's murder and the attempted murder of Kate Sheedy, that's the one he ran over and then ran back over.
Yes, yeah.
But then they failed to reach verdicts concerning Irma's attack and Anna Marie Rennie's attack.
Yes.
But then he was still given a full life tariff.
Yep.
So he went to jail for life. The day after that, he was named prime suspect for Millie Dowler's case. Like they literally waited a day before they brought it out. So, and he was found guilty of that, obviously. But yeah, so they couldn't, a lot of his crimes, they didn't have evidence, and that's why it took so long for them to actually get a conviction. Yeah,
like during the time of them, I do remember and reading back now, like we were just discussing before we started, it felt like, and it seemed like nothing was happening. The police weren't doing anything.
And there were so many reports of like going, oh, lazy police, how dare they should solve this quicker.
Yeah. But the book that Christian read, like the book that I read talks about Levi Bellfield, his history, his whole thing, and the crimes in general. The book that Christian read was written by DCI Sutton, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he was.
So Christian can definitely fill in a little bit of what we were just talking about.
Yeah, basically, it's like a lot of the times in America, the problem with a lot of cases are different counties not communicating with each other. That was a big holdback. But just for the London area itself and the London crimes, they went more than above and beyond what they should have done. Like Sutton wanted to have. Like normally you'd have say 2 people of your team on CCTV getting the relevant footage, and they would just get the footage around the area.
Yeah.
Sutton was like, we don't know who this is. Get I think it was a 3-mile radius. Every single CCTV around there. You need to get everyone. Had 10 officers on it.
Yeah, because there was CCTV on buses as well as buildings, wasn't it?
And they were like the people up in charge said fine, it's his case, he could do it. Everyone else was complaining and moaning, saying he's wasting police time.
Yeah.
How dare he do this? But he learnt the way to do things after reading about the Yorkshire Ripper case.
Yeah.
Because they gave up investigating one line of inquiry just before they could have caught him. So he was basically like wanting every single white van looked at in England. Basically, more or less,
because they spotted a van that had been parked up for just a few minutes by Twickenham Green.
That was there for I think it was like there for like 5 or 6 minutes.
It was it was parked oddly and not for very long.
But
and then
Sutton knew that was, if it wasn't the killer, it was someone who saw it, because nobody would be parked there for that short amount of time.
Yeah.
So they basically said, how long, what area could these, he's obviously local-ish, so how many in the area? And there was like, say 25,000. And he wanted every single one caught. And he even brought up in the actual case to his officers saying, no, we cannot stop this. We have to see it through to the end.
Yeah.
Or we will not forgive ourselves, because we will find, otherwise when he is caught, we'll find out where we went wrong. And if we just stayed a little bit longer.
Yes.
But then it turned out that he didn't have to rely on that, because they managed to find the line of inquiry while that was going on of his ex-wife giving a statement previously about he's a piece of shit, look into him. And while all the other officers were out around the country searching for these vans, they got notice about this old line of inquiry, looked at it again, and realised it was him. So they could call everyone back. And
So didn't they then... Was that when they got one of his mobile numbers and they could see that it had gone to Walton?
Yeah.
So Walton on Thames is Surrey, just next to London. It's not very far. You can drive it. Drive Twickenham to Walton is like 30 minutes or something. Like, it's not too far. Which we'll get to a bit later, is where Millie Dowler was killed, is Walton. And I think they figured that he'd been around there as well.
Yeah.
So they went and searched, didn't they? They searched in the river.
And they searched in the river, and basically it was the same thing of like the police wanted to search a particular area. Sutton, in his infinite wisdom, was there saying no, because he would have to have gone over here to park his car and walk out and throw it. So go here. Everyone's going, no, you have to search here. This is where it'd be, because it was a bridge there. But then he was like, no, you search there. They went to search where he wanted to. They found stuff.
Yeah.
Never found a phone.
No, but they did find other kind of
They
bits
found out
of her
the stuff.
artifacts, didn't they?
But yes, like the police really went above and beyond a lot of the time. Like with every single witness or potential witness, if they said anything like, "Oh, I think there was somebody there," they saw it through to the nth degree. Like this one guy said he saw someone who looked like the footballer Maradona standing by some cricket screens having cigarettes during that kind of time. So they dismantled the cricket screens.
And they found there were cigarette butts.
Yeah. They found the cigarette butts, but they didn't know necessarily if they were his or whose were whose. My dog is at the moment trying to mount Chris. Oi, stop mounting. Nah, I can't leave it. But no, they really went above and beyond. They took these cricket screens down just in the vague hope it would be anything. It turned out it wasn't. And they ended up buying the cricket club, new screens. Because they didn't know how to get the. I mean, cricket screens are about what, 20 feet tall, maybe a bit taller.
I don't know. Yeah, they're pretty big. They keep the sun away from the eyes of the cricketers. Cricket is kind of like baseball for English people,
but lazier baseball. But yeah, so they did. The police really tried everything because they had such little evidence. But the things like the CCTV caught Bellfield on camera, not doing anything but seeing him on behind her on the bus.
Yeah.
So there are the things that they did above and beyond. In retrospect, just bolstered their case.
Yeah, 'cause they knew they had no forensic evidence and they had circumstantial evidence, so they needed a shit ton of circumstantial evidence. They needed as much as they could possibly have to put him in the places where these things happened.
Yeah, being a wheel clamp guy means he's all over the fucking shop anyway.
Yes. And he had access to loads of different vehicles and he moved vehicles on all the time, so it made it very challenging.
So at the time, they suspect that there was another investigation that suspected him as possibly being part of a child grooming gang or being just a name on a list of gangs. These are probably associates, but they weren't. There was no evidence for that either. After, of course, it turns out, the guy's a nonce, and
it feels like there's definitely associates of him that would know this other infamous high-profile paedophile who from the area who's been charged and gone to prison. It's almost impossible that they weren't somehow linked because they were operated in the same area at the same time with an interest in underage girls. We are going all over the shop on this one because there isn't particular subjects that are we just want to, like with the Chikatilo and Fred West, there are certain subjects we zeroed in on. This one, there's lots of talking points that kind of span the whole gamut. But then you've got the thing with like the gang and this potential gang. He was the day he arrested him, so they didn't lose evidence because they presumed he was part of a gang. Yep.
They busted them all at once.
Yeah, they went to a number of
raid.
addresses and Sutton coordinated, didn't he? And at exactly the same time.
And of course, Bellfield was doing the real the stand-up thing of hiding in the loft.
Was he hiding naked?
He was hiding
in
naked
the loft underneath a piece of insulation.
Yeah.
So then he was really itchy for the rest of the day, and he was.
But yeah, he was hidden there. But obviously, Sutton said that this group obviously covered for each other on a lot of things. So they provided alibis for each other for certain things. So some of them were doing something else that day, high profile, so they couldn't be caught. Another one, somebody else was doing things. So there was less evidence to be able to say this one person did all this.
Yeah.
So
and also I think probably with Levi Bellfield, if you discount but take out of the picture for a second his major crimes, he was a criminal for all of his life, so he was used to evading the police, he was used to having alibis, he was used to having, and people around him were used to giving him alibis and telling stories and saying he's here and getting rid of vehicles and moving vehicles on. And
but also like his friends calling him Mr. Truthful, like his apparent friends say he's a compulsive liar. Now obviously he's a compulsive liar for everyone, so he's very good at lying. It's just every one of his friends know it's a lie.
Yeah.
Like that says, I mean, I could see him going out and like meeting women and just lying to them to try and, get into their pants, or whatever. But lying to your friends who know you. Yeah. Like, what's the point?
But also they knew he was a liar. They knew he had a volatile temper. They knew that, but they still associated with him. It's so bizarre. It's hard to understand.
It's hard to have any care. Like I really try in a lot of these subjects to try and find the humanity or the point in their life where they did have some humanity.
That's something that you said before, isn't it? Is like, is there like a jumping off point, a point of no returner?
Whereas this one, there isn't. I mean, maybe there is, but we just don't know.
Know.
Maybe the death of his girlfriend when she was 14. Maybe he didn't do it. Maybe that was the thing that spurred him on. She died of blunt force trauma. Maybe that's where he got it from. Maybe it was a whole psychological breakdown and it just so happened he became the monster from a monstrous act of someone else.
Yeah.
Or he killed her.
Yeah.
Like, there's no middle ground there. But also, if it wasn't for the public coming forward, he wouldn't have got caught then. Because it was only because of the lines of inquiry that were open of them going around doing... So the ex-girlfriend, the two ex-girlfriends, came forward and gave evidence.
Yeah.
And said, there's this, check into it. And that's when they found out he had a balaclava and a knife in a jacket. He had Esquire magazines with all the blonde girls' faces stabbed out. Yeah.
Like, he had admitted to one of his ex-girlfriends, I think when he was living in Strawberry Hill, which is just outside Twickenham. There's a girls' school nearby, and the girls would walk by, like down the alley by his house, and he admitted that he would go out and hide and watch them and try and wait for a victim. And he admitted to one of his, I think it's the same girlfriend that found the jacket with the hole in it with the knife, 9.5-inch blade in the pocket and stuff. There's all this evidence. The thing is, he obviously groomed these women. He groomed them and they were enthralled to him. They were scared of him. And he introduced these bits of himself slowly over time. So if you see them all together, you go, well, that's absolutely insane. But when you see one thing at a time...
You probably don't realise.
Over a long period of time, you kind of... And then you accept it. And I know one of the girlfriends said, kind of paraphrasing, but basically said, like, you didn't question Levi. When you saw... If you found these things about him, you never questioned him. You didn't ask him because it wasn't worth it. Because he was so violent. But then also, he would, like... Sometimes he would do things, say, like, he would maybe be aggressive, whatever. And then other times he would cry.
Well, it's like, you've got the whole thing of like he's always being the big man and saying things like in prison. He's written to a pen pal saying that Charles Bronson, not the actor, the very violent prisoner, who's the subject of the film Bronson with Tom Hardy. That probably gives some frame of reference for everyone. But he wrote to this guy calling him, what was it? The leprechaun, the lardy leprechaun is still after young boys. I terrorised him, and it's like. Well, lardy leprechaun, when you talk about Charles Bronson, probably not. But he's going after him saying that he's a paedophile for young boys. Yeah. But Bellfield was a paedophile for young girls.
But, I mean, so
is it the boy thing that he's got with?
I was just going to say, like, maybe upsets people. Growing up literally next door to Feltham, or Feltham, as it's called locally, Feltham, I wouldn't be surprised if someone had more of a problem with someone being a homosexual than a paedophile.
Well, bear in mind,
which is fucking terrible. I'm not laughing because it's funny. No. I'm laughing because it's...
There's so much that's horrible in this, but the one thing that got me recently was actually something that Chris told me about Millie Dowler.
So, actually, shall we... So we mentioned Amelie Delagrange, we mentioned Marsha McDonnell. So, actually, as we're going to mention Millie Dowler, I'll just give a brief outline. So she was a young girl coming home from school, secondary school. She got off the train stop earlier than she normally would to have some chips with her friends. Literally, just everything was fine. Walked across the road in Walton. Walked across the road to walk the, I think, half mile or whatever it was home, and was never found. And just disappeared. The CCTV cameras were facing the wrong way, as you would have seen it. So by pure fucking fluke, didn't see him take her. And it was months before they found the body and years before they charged him with it. And I remember it was everywhere. There was so much publicity. There's a video of her ironing her jeans, laughing and joking.
Yeah. I remember seeing
that was literally, I think that was taken a day or two before she disappeared as well. Yeah. It was really close.
Well, that was 2002 that she went missing.
2000.
And he wasn't a prime suspect until, I think, 2006? Was it? Yeah, 2008. 2008 was when they named him as the prime suspect.
Yeah, so that was such a high profile case, and again, it was Walton. It's down the road from where I grew up. Everyone knew about it. Absolutely everybody. So she disappeared. They eventually found her remains months and months later in I think it was near Fleet, actually, in Hampshire, which isn't that far.
It's about in what, 3/4 of an hour
from Walton. Yeah, probably there. 45 minutes. It's not far. Straight down the M3. Like it's an area that turns out he knew well as well. But anyway, so that's the outline of that. She just disappeared.
Yeah.
She was there and then she wasn't. And it was such a mystery. It was so high profile and so bizarre because there was no sign.
It's like, I mean, I don't want to go into the details of what he did to her because it's just fucking horrible.
So he denied everything for ages, and it wasn't until after he was found guilty that he finally decided to admit to it. And he would only admit it to female officers.
Yeah. Which is obviously a power play. But one thing he said that, I'm only bringing this up because it relates to a previous story, but after keeping her and torturing her for a day, he then took her outside and raped her on his car bonnet.
Yeah, I think outside his mum's house.
Outside his mum's house. I mean, you got to go, because he moved her at one point. I don't know of a serial killer that after taking the person and raping and torturing them and doing what they want them, then moves them and does it again.
Yeah, does it again in broad daylight,
Yeah, I
in
mean,
a public.
broad daylight, but the thing, the girl in the wheelchair, is he got... It's a
I
power.
don't know.
Everything's
It's just
a power
power,
play.
yeah.
But then everything's about power. Like he wants to say to a female officer, he wants to tell that to.
Yes.
It's like, what the? Just fuck off and just stop doing it.
So yeah, that we're not gonna describe his
it's
confession.
too much.
And the thing is, what's weird as well is like I've read, and anyone that's listening to this has probably read lots of horrible admissions of guilt and horrible descriptions. But again, for some reason, this little short kind of paragraph that's available, you just Google it, you'll find it. Just awful for some reason. It was, yeah.
It's probably because Millie Dowler to us was a face that we saw for a long time of where is she in like a young girl. Like it wasn't like we saw her afterwards going, oh, this happened. No, we grew up seeing that face, and maybe it's that. Maybe seeing the paragraph, it's like it makes it more real because all the other crimes we look at, they're other side of the country, other countries, other times. This is our time, our country, our area.
So also, the day before, Millie Dowler was abducted and subjected to what she was subjected to. Another girl, they reckon he tried to pick up because he was driving the red car, Daewoo, which became very, very important in the Millie Dowler case. And it's just another thing. So like this girl that he tried to pick up the day before, he pulled over and said that I'm one of your neighbours, or I've moved in near you, do you want a lift? And she said no, she didn't recognise him. She went to the same school as me. She was in my brother's year at school. So like all the photos of her is on like the school uniform that we had and stuff. It's so bizarre. It's so strange.
Also, the thing about Millie Dowler is that it turns out that because she went missing when she was how old? 13. When she was 9, she was friends with Levi Bellfield's ex's daughter at school.
Yeah, I didn't know any of this.
They used to
so
go
strange.
around, and she apparently went round for dinner a few times. Now, SIO Sutton says he doesn't think Bellfield would have remembered her. He says there's enough times passed, and the kind of things he doesn't dwell on it. It just so happened because she was in the area, because of the size of the area, it just was coincidence, he thinks. I mean, yeah, fair enough, it probably is, but it's even creepier.
It's such a, it's like a weird, I guess, like serendipity, I guess you might call it, or something like that, like just to come back around. But yeah, like the Millie Dowler thing was just, she disappeared. But what's so interesting about that is, and actually a bit of a failing, so the Millie Dowler case was open for years before Levi Bellfield got arrested for the Amelie de la Grange. But because Walton is in Surrey, Twickenham and all of that was done under the Metropolitan Police, which is London. Millie Dowler was being looked at under the Surrey Police Force, so they had to convince them to coordinate and work together.
Because they had their own line of inquiry, they had their own suspects.
They had their own suspect they were really keen on, weren't they?
But when Sutton went there, he saw that it was ludicrous because his suspect had a lot more probability.
Yeah.
But with these things, it's all politics when you go behind. Now nowadays, like it's only not that much later, like we're only a decade later.
Yeah.
But the police have started talking to each other now, and there are bigger databases to find these things to actually coordinate more. So it's taking a long time, but police are starting to learn.
But hopefully cases like this help go towards that. But so that was in Surrey. But the thing is, so even though he was operating around West London, South West London and stuff, Walton isn't far from all of those areas. It's just down the road. But him and his girlfriend at the time were living in a flat literally next to where Millie Dowler went missing from.
Yeah.
They weren't living there at that moment because they were moving back to Little Benty and
but he still had didn't he get the keys to take her back there? He got the keys.
Yeah, he got the keys because he got the red Daewoo he had the red Daewoo that his girlfriend. It was her car. There was only one key for it, and it had the front door key to the flat there. So he was linked to it, and the police went and they knocked around all those flats, and they didn't. No one was in, and they didn't follow it up. The flat that he was associated with, that his girlfriend had, that they weren't living at that time, but it was still in their name. No one answered the door. They left it. They didn't follow it up, and you just feel like, what if?
Yeah, it's all missed opportunities. I mean, but then again, that's the case with all these cases.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
what if?
But then, like him in jail, there's all these like his other prisoners have come out and said, "Oh, he's confessed these crimes to me and these crimes to me," and he has now like come out and said, "No, I didn't. That's all a lie. They're making this up." But the stories that they've told have explained a lot about these crimes and actually given more detail. They say, "Oh, Bellfield said this, this, and this," and it actually gives more detail into the crime and answers questions. So him saying, like, he's still denying things even though he's in jail for life. But there's the guy, there's one guy who's in prison, Michael Stone, convicted of the 1996 murders of Lynn Russell and her daughter Megan. He keeps saying that Bellfield should be investigated for the crimes because he apparently confessed to it. But they have had experts re-examining the evidence, and they've supported the view. Like, there was a program called the Chillenden Murders, which was a BBC Two TV program in 2017. And the experts they got for that said, no, the investigation should be reopened because Bellfield's involvement is a lot more concrete than Michael Stone.
That's really interesting. Those murders, what's her surname? You just said it.
Lynn Russell and
the Russell guys, because one of the girls, like, she survived. They were attacked in the countryside. I think their hands were bound and they were beaten with hammers.
Yeah. And
it was another
Michael Stone
attack.
is a piece of shit, but he has said from the beginning, I mean, they all say they're innocent, but he has consistently said he's innocent and didn't know a lot of details. In the apparent confession, they said, oh no, he was not only in the area, but he killed them this way and this is what he did, but information that they didn't have previously on the Russells. But Levi Bellfield's ex has come out and said, even though she prosecuted, was against him and said, no, he did all these murders, has said, no, I was away with him at the time. He couldn't have done these. Which is obviously we'll never know the exact truth, but I believe that he, in this gang that he was in, I think there was a lot of alibi sharing. I think maybe Michael Stone was part of it. But there was the kind of people he was involved with. If they go kill people and they all do it the same way with hammers and they all do the same MO and they do it wherever, but they make sure they don't one person does them all.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting...
It's a complete conspiracy theory.
Yeah, but it's an interesting thought that it's strange, not strange, but it's kind of unusual to have maybe... There's not many serial killers around, really.
No.
Not that I know there's more than we know about, but they're not... Compared to the population size, there's not
Which
loads
is
of them.
surprising because
And
there
so-
is a lot of... by percentage, there's a lot more rapists. But you've got to think, it's only a short jump between raping someone and raping someone and killing them.
But to have two people within, within the south of England who murder people with hammers, that feels like unusual.
Yeah. Also, why a fucking hammer? I mean, if you're going to kill someone, doesn't that seem a bit...
Well, it's violent, isn't it? It's a violent shit, and it's... Sorry, just getting the dog off me. He's a violent turd, and it's personal and it's violent, and also you can carry a hammer with you, I guess, in your car and stuff without. It's not unusual.
Yeah.
I just wanted to. I was thinking about something as we're talking.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things I'd like to highlight that he's kind of illustrates a couple of bits about him and his opinion and his thoughts.
School me, boy.
So this one. Again, a quote from the book I was reading.
Do you need more hold music?
What a piece of shit. So one fellow inmate in particular told the police murder squad privately that Bellfield had confessed to killing Amelie Delagrange. Significantly, he had also told them that Bellfield described women as being like, and I quote, pet dogs. You feed them and you keep them and you can do what you want with them. And I think that really struck a chord because it's just so dehumanizing and demeaning.
And also, I treat my dog very well.
Also, yeah.
How does he treat dog? Fucking hell.
And I think another thing as well I just want to highlight with him, in court, he was very careful to try and have like a mask, a veneer of respectability. He didn't show any kind of emotion. He just stared straight ahead in the dock. But he would complain a lot. He would complain to his his briefs.
Yeah, that doesn't mean his pants. His briefs.
His lawyers and stuff. He would be complaining to them constantly and things. But he would try and keep things to a minimum when the jury were in. He would only show his true face. But at one point, the jury had retired for a final time to consider their verdict on the murder of Amelie Delagrange. And Amelie Delagrange's parents had to come over from France, and they were there, sat there through the entire trial. Very dignified. And that apparently really pissed off Levi Bellfield. He was unhappy that they were there, and they were dignified, and they were quiet, and they were the exact opposite of everything that he is. And apparently he shouted at them at one point in court. He shouted at them and accused them of being fucking leeches. To the family of the woman that he murdered with a hammer just because she was a blonde woman.
Also, let's think of the what he actually said. He's calling them leeches, meaning they're getting something from it.
Like they want something, yeah.
What do they want? Their daughter back. That's what they fucking want.
Well, that's what they fucking want.
Oh,
yeah.
you're a leech now. Well, good. I'm glad they're leeches if they want their daughter back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is all everything. Everything's power play. Everything he does is thinking he's the big man, but with absolutely no backing it up apart from his brute force and being scary. That's it.
Yeah, he's got nothing. He's not going to ever be a member of Mensa, is he? He's a fucking idiot. Another thing, actually, that I just wanted to... I haven't got anything written down, but I just remembered that I wanted to mention as well was... I don't know if you read this, if it was covered in that, but during the Millie Dowler case, the cross-examination that the defence gave to Millie Dowler's parents was fucking horrible.
Yes, it was.
And apparently that was all at the insistence of him. He apparently drove all of that to try and discredit them. Basically... her dad, Millie Dowler's dad, had a liking for some kind of bondage porn and stuff, and apparently she'd found some of his magazines and confronted him about it, and blah blah blah, and she'd said to him all about it, and they'd spoken about it as a family, and the mum had told her, that doesn't mean doesn't love mummy anymore, and then she had spoken to him, and they'd got rid of him, and they moved on, and it was what it was. It was what it was. Like, it was probably uncomfortable for a bit, but it was ages. I think it was 6 months or a year before she went missing. And they were so one of the things they were trying to do was suggest that she had run away from home. They'd also found some poetry she'd written and some letters, and she'd written like a suicide note that she'd put away in a drawer, saying that they'd be better off without her, and implying that her sister was a favourite and that she was a failure. But she was a 12, 13-year-old girl. She was, she's a girl that's stuck between, she's entering puberty. She's not an adult. She's confusing. Like, being a teenager is shit often. Like,
well, the thing is, it's not surprising that Bellfield would have pushed for that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a guy that in the interviews, and these are on YouTube, and you can't really hear much, but it's great because halfway through the interview, I mean, he's constantly leaning on his chair and swiveling in his chair. At one point, he just turns around and turns his back to them during the interview.
That's all he's got left,
Yeah, because he literally has nothing. So that was his power play there. Here, the only thing he can do is say, I want to do some more talk. I want to and basically annoy someone else.
I've kidnapped, tortured, raped and murdered your daughter. So now, in front of everyone, in front of the world's press, I'm going to torture you.
Well, it was
in the court of law. It was horrible.
He constantly not acted. He definitely didn't act like he was innocent, but he constantly said he was innocent. But on the last day of sentencing, he didn't even turn up.
Oh yeah, he didn't turn up for it. He just stayed in his cell. Had a little fucking little tantrum.
Yeah. And it's like, that's the power play. And it's like that's actually been a way with a lot of serial killers. Like when they've been in jail, they've done a tantrum and then go, well, I'm just not going to jail. This is pointless. Bundy did it.
Yeah.
But you've got that thing of like, wait, why do you not see that is not a power play? That is showing you as weaker.
But it's, because he's literally, everything is taken from him and it's the only thing he has left. He's used to being in control. He's such a shit.
But then now he's in jail, obviously. He's apparently got a PlayStation, an Xbox, a DVD, a TV, because he's a high-profile killer. He spends his money, apparently... I want to know what fucking money, but he spends his money
what's he
on
spend
cooking.
It on? Cooking?
On steaks, kippers, and basically does cooking. But I don't actually know how prisoners get their money and how they buy these things. Or is it money as in other things?
I wonder if he's...
Or do you get to keep your money?
Well, yeah. Unless it's proceeds of crime, like
you
can
can't
keep
spend it in jail, can you?
Yeah, well, because you'd have a you have an account in jail, yeah. So people can put money in for you if you want as well. So his family probably puts money in for him. He'll have money coming in, and he's fucking wheeler dealer. He probably still sells like cigarettes and stuff in prison. And I don't know, but he's such a shit. So one thing I'm just going to read, and just to highlight, this is a little bit of the opening statement of the prosecution, not for Millie Dowler, but for the Emily Delagrange and Marsha McDonald case, where they tried to bring the 2 murders plus 3 attempted murders at the same time in the same court. And I just want to read it, and if we decide to keep it in, I just want to read it to kind of, so we don't forget, so we highlight like just a bit of the brutality in one little case. So this is, I'm quoting from the book that I've been using all the time. It's called The Bus Stop Killer by Geoffrey Wansell. The QC3, Brian Altman, he said, between October 2001 and August 2004, 5 women, 4 of them young women aged between 17 and 22, were violently attacked. 2 of these young women were brutally murdered by being battered about their head with a blunt instrument. 1 young woman survived the horrific attack on her when she was driven at and run over. And just to highlight, he ran over her, then he backed up over her.
And she survived.
One other woman suffered a nasty injury when she was struck on the head. Another woman escaped the attack upon her without injury. The prosecution say that this defendant, Levi Bellfield, was the attacker in each case. That's 5 women that he murdered or attempted to murder. One woman, the one in Longford Village, near where I work, she survived the attack. Didn't remember anything of it, but she was literally just waiting at the bus stop to go home. The other one who got away from the attack, she was living in, I think it was Hamworth Way. She had an argument with her boyfriend. She was like 17 or something, and had just gone for a walk. And he went up to, got her friend to stop the car, went up to her, tried to get her attention and stuff, and she left.
Said no.
She had no and left. Like, how close was she to death? It's unbelievable. But I just wanted to read that so we don't forget, those 5 women that we know of. Millie Dowler, so that's 6.
And probably more. They think he's the police have a conservative estimate that not necessarily murders, but 20 violent beatings and rapes.
Yeah.
And some of those would have been murders.
Yep.
They say at least 20.
He raped all of his girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
He raped people and drugged girls in the back of his van.
Was a nonce.
He's a nonce.
Jesus. Well, let's wrap it up and do a where are they now?
Where are they now?
I'll tell you.
Oh, good.
So Levi Bellfield, the
Yes.
high-pitched gypsy.
Levi Bellfield.
He converted to Islam. He changed his name to Yusuf Rahim.
Okay.
Succumbing to and actually following a belief system of any kind.
Yeah,
it cannot be genuine.
No, I have we were talking about this before as well. My theory or my opinion on this is so one of the things he was worried about being found guilty of the Millie Dowler case because it meant he was in prison parlance a nonce, a fucking paedophile. So before that, he was seen as quite popular in prison. A bit of a lad, got the banter, and he was worried that he was going to go into prison as a nonce, which he is, and he was, and he's found guilty, and he's a fucking paedophile. So I think he had to now, for his own protection, he had to belong to a group.
Yeah,
if you find religion, sins are forgiven. You find a religious group, so he's just chosen Islam because probably they allowed him in, and now he has some group protection.
Ian Huntley, who's also a nonce.
Ian Huntley
is in the same wing as him, and the same people approached him to convert into Islam as well. He said, "Fuck off," because the difference between Huntley and Bellfield is allegedly Huntley is completely contrite and believes he's evil and that everything he did is wrong. Bellfield doesn't. So you've got that, but he's serving 3 life sentences. He's on a full life tariff, so he'll never get out.
In the UK is very, very rare. He's one of very few people to be on full life tariff.
He's in Her Majesty's Prison in Frankland in County Durham. The other one we got is SIO Colin Sutton, who's retired and now advises and consults on crime and criminal justice issues for written and broadcast media. So he's
good for him.
Good on him. After reading his book, I do recommend his book. It's just called Manhunt. The TV series was based on it. It's a fantastic book, and he is a damn good writer, and a lot of respect for the guy. But I am glad that this podcast is as over as Bellfield's crime spree.
What we've found so far is when we're researching these serial killers and these murderers and that, we find them really interesting. And by the time we get to the end of a few weeks or a couple of weeks of being just thinking of nothing but and reading and watching nothing but their horrific crimes, fucking sick of them. I still find it interesting, the crime, but I don't want to see his stupid fat face and hear his stupid fucking voice ever again. So as we've started doing now at the end of these big serial killer,
or a couple of weeks afterwards when we forget to do it.
Shut up. We're organised. We didn't forget the intro, and we haven't forgotten the end bit either.
At all.
We're going to go through our serial killer top trumps, give you a couple of examples, and then we'll decide on the maniac factor.
Yes.
So here we've got, to keep on the British theme, we've got Dennis Nilsson, also known as the kindly killer, which I didn't know that was.
I don't think you can really be kind and a killer.
So he was a serial killer and necrophiliac.
Still not kind.
He was also known as the Muswell Hill murderer. He committed the murders of 15 young men in London, England between 1978 and 1983. Killed, 15 young men. He was 33 when he first killed. Spent 5 years undiscovered. Maniac factor, 3 stars, 3 out of 5. Only 3.
So he was kind. He was kind,
nice.
so they're knocking it off because he was kind.
Would you mind awfully?
Yeah. I'm just going to stab you, young man.
Let's just go with another one. Let's go with this guy, Patrick Kearney.
Mm-hmm.
So he's primarily a necrophile.
What, I mean,
Possibly,
did you just pick 2 corpse fuckers?
absolutely by accident as well.
All
I
right.
didn't realise it, honestly. And possibly the most prolific serial killer alive in US history. He claimed to have killed 43 young men starting in 1974. Kearney is estimated to have committed murders on an almost monthly basis. Do you know what his
What his name was?
his
or-
his nickname?
Nickname, there we
You
go.
remember what his
I'm sitting there just
you know,
waiting
his
for it. Going,
nickname might
it's
be.
Going. It's going to be a joke or something. No,
No, it's just terrible.
his nickname, no idea.
The trash bag killer.
Please tell me he was dressed as in a trash bag. And it
Yeah.
wasn't he used them. He just dressed in it.
He also killed trash bags.
Oh, isn't that
bagger.
nice?
And one more. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, what was his maniac factor?
Maniac
This is-
factor. So what do you reckon? He's killed.
He's killed that many people.
Yeah,
but
he's a
he did it with the-
necrophile and he
how-
killed 43 people.
Oh, he's got to be at least a 4, surely. Or is it a 3 on there?
Only a 3. Only a 3. So, considering they're both 3s, pretty terrible.
Yeah.
So Levi Bellfield raped a bunch of women,
Yep.
beat up and raped all of his partners,
Got his wife to wipe his ass.
got his wife to wipe his ass.
Uh-huh.
We know that he murdered at least 3 people.
Raped someone in a wheelchair on the hood of his car.
Yep, did that.
What-
Absolute shitbag.
Oh, I have a theory.
High pitched voice.
Can I go first on this one?
Yeah, go on.
I think his maniac factor is 0. And the reasoning behind that is
Go on.
he's not a maniac. He's a cock. You look at someone like Chikatilo, who we already covered, who's a maniac who literally could not be controlled.
Yeah.
Is more or less an animal
Yes.
in what he was doing. Belfield is just a power-hungry prick who had no morals. I refuse to give him the honor
Yeah.
that he would see of having, because he probably thinks it's great being considered a serial killer and all that. No, I'm not giving him that. Fuck you, Belfield. You're shit at everything. I hate you. You don't even get points on my fucking system.
So
That's what I think.
0 stars out
0
of 5 for the
stars
maniacs
because I
factor.
hate him that much. Hype,
I'm
fat fuck. So
I think because I think I put Chikatilo up at like a 4 or a 5. I think
Yeah.
I might give him 5 because he was pretty bad for a long
I
time.
would say pretty bad, yeah.
Even though Bellfield obviously what he did was awful, I'm going to give him just a 1.
Yeah.
Just a 1. He, his body count is relatively low. Still too many. Not making low, but relatively low in the scheme of things. And he was just a shit.
Yeah,
I fucking hate him
That's
so
the
much.
thing. It's like I don't see him in everything I've read. At no point would they describe him as an animal or sort of a maniac. Really,
Yeah,
they
well-
would just describe him as basically being a sick, twisted piece of shit who had a self-inflated sense of worth and no morality.
He did turn his chair around though and face
turned
the
his chair-
wall.
oh, it's just
Turned his
cock.
back to the police. Grr.
Oh, it's awful. It's awful. And it's I hope you like what I did in the intro music where I put a quote of him
Yes.
in. I was going to do one that was just him saying, no comment, a lot. But I decided no. There was one where he basically came out and started talking against that guy Stone,
Yeah.
who was saying that he did the Chillington killings,
Yeah.
not him. And then I re-edited it to basically be him calling himself a twisted fuck. which
Yeah, I thought that was
a-
good. I thought it was very well
I
done.
really hope they listen to podcasts in jail because I know he's up on things. He has.
I'd love the idea that he'd listen to it and just hear us calling him an
Well,
absolute wanker.
he knows what newspapers do. He's apparently got a computer. So Belfield, if you're listening to this, I fucking hate you, and you're a piece of shit, and you should have died a long time ago. But this is a better punishment,
Yeah, fuck off.
and I hope Charles Bronson beats the fuck out of you. And I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about the dead actor here.
Oh, yeah,
I hope he
yeah.
raises from the dead. Yeah, but that's basically that's my mania. I fucking
Okay, you
hate
got
it.
0. I gave him a 1.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Let's go meet halfway.
Yeah.
Let's give him a half.
Yes, let's give him half a star.
Let's give him a semi.
Yeah,
no,
wait, no.
don't want to give him a semi.
half star.
It would be a demi,
A
wouldn't it?
demi.
Yeah, so that's the maniac factor. But yeah, so fuck you, Levi Bellfield. That's my final thoughts. Chris,
Yes.
do you have a final thought?
No, that has been Levi Bellfield. Please fuck off. And we have been Echo On. We are everywhere on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Echo On Pod.
Please leave your reviews. Make
Please
them
give
5 stars.
Yeah, give us 5-star reviews. Read us, leave us a comment, please, on iTunes, etc. Download the episodes, and we will give links to our research material and anything else that we think is interesting and pertinent to Levi Bellfield.
But yeah, so that's it for this. So in 2 weeks' time, we'll be coming back with another episode.
Back once again like the Renegade Master.
Anyway, so goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.